Hey everybody, before I get started, I just want to mention a couple of ways that you can engage with me on a more personal level. I have a few avenues set up and I keep focusing on one, and I figured, why don't I make a short little video talking about all of them real quick before we get into these episodes. So first thing, Patreon. There's a link in the episode description, and every episode description to the Patreon, as well as a video on the feed called Major Announcement that has all the details of what each tier offers and how much they cost. I implore you to check that out. I offer a lot of cool shit for my patrons. Second thing, the Discord channel. There's also a Discord link in the episode description and in every episode description. I have multiple channels set up there for each show that I'm covering, and it's a great way to just engage with me. I have a channel set up for MMA talk as well. I'm a big MMA fan, so if you're an MMA fan, you can check that out as well. There's a link to the Discord in the episode description. And then lastly, the Facebook and Twitter. Social media. Follow me on there. I post news on there. When I say news, I mean like, hey, I'm stopping covering this show. Hey, I'm starting covering this show. Let me know what you think about this. I do live watches of things on Facebook where like I'll check in and say, I'm watching so-and-so show. And then I'll like live comment while I'm watching it. And that'll be cool if maybe you watch that show too and you want to watch along with me, or you're watching it later and you will see my thoughts, which are usually pretty entertaining because I'm usually pretty high when I'm writing them. So check out all those links in each episode description, and let's talk about this episode. Peace.
One mic. Yeah. All I need is one mic. Yeah. All I need is one mic.
Hey everybody, welcome back to One Mic, and today I'm here to talk about Season 2, Episode 10, the Season 2 finale of Apple TV's Foundation, entitled Creation Myths. Before I get started, I want to apologize for my voice. I know it sounds a little rough. I'm struggling with not losing my voice. I really thought I was going to be screwed today on getting a video out for you guys. Like I was going to have no voice at all, but I can talk. I feel good. I don't know if it's going to go wrong while I'm talking, but hey, I had to get in front of you guys to talk about this episode because I don't know what to say other than that was one of my favorite episodes of television all year. Like, this show's journey has been one for the ages. Like, as it started off good, but flawed, and evolved into one of the best seasons of TV this year. Like, this episode was absolutely outstanding, and it had it all. Like, this show has always pushed the boundaries of creativity, and this episode was no different. There were reveals, trickery, callbacks, emotional moments, exciting moments, shocking moments, fight sequences. Everybody who's important died. And it did an excellent job of accomplishing the number one task of a season finale, assuming you expect to get another season, which is tying up everything for the current season and setting up the next one. I think I've covered all the ways I wanted to give praise to this episode up front, so let's just get right into it. And I'm going to start with the Shag plot line, since that's where the episode starts. So the episode opens with Gail narrating about how she used to ask her mom a million questions as a kid. And the narration ends with her asking about the universe and how something can come from nothing. And we see the previously thought to be dead Flesh Harry coming back to life in the water over this narration from Gail. Now at this point, I'm kind of like, this is going to be a tall task to explain Flesh Harry being alive after all this time in a way that's not going to piss me off or make my eyes roll into the back of my head. Then they proceed to give the coolest fucking explanation of how he's alive, and I'm just in awe of the way the writers of this show come up with cool, creative shit constantly. You know, like, this is a lesser caliber, but like, just immediately referencing last week, like with how Demerzel was segmented in that way that she was, like, that was super creative to me. Not anywhere near as cool and creative as this, but still really cool. So Gail says her and Harry, essentially, they built a bridge of shared sensations. This is what, that's straight out of Gail's mouth. She experienced everything that he experienced, and having realized the power that she has, thanks to Tellum, she was essentially able to control Harry's body with her own body from afar. Like man, there's a word for that. I don't know what it is. There's an awesome scene, though, where we could see Harry beating up the guard who was watching over his body, and they cut it in a way that made it so it was easier to understand what exactly the dynamic was between Gail and Harry. Like, they would have Gail would throw a punch, but then the guard would get hit in the stomach, and you see it was Harry that hit him. So like, they were like showing you like it's Harry that's there, but it's Gail that's initiating the actions. And then, as if that wasn't already cool enough conceptually, they replaced Harry's body in the water with the guards and then just made it look like Harry. Like, and okay, there's a part of me that feels like that shouldn't have worked on any of the Mentalics, but still, it was still too clever of an idea for me to nitpick it. But I don't know. The only thing I could say is that Gale is probably powerful to the point of well beyond what even we think she can do. Like the shit she was doing in this episode, like with the thing with Harry that I just talked about. I mean, I wouldn't have thought Gale had that ability. But we also learned that this is something that Gale and Harry have been working on. So all those times when Salvor was freaking out about Gale's decisions and Gale was telling her to just trust her, it wasn't a person going crazy saying, leave me alone. It really was like, look, I can't tell you, but you got to trust me. It was legit. She couldn't tell her what she had going on with Harry. Oh, and when I talked at the top about the episode having callbacks, this episode was so fucking good, it fixed some of the issues that I had in previous episodes. Now, this wasn't a huge issue. I made a joke of it in the video for whatever episode this happened in. I think it was one of the last two. But those of you who have been with me all season, kind of following my journey with this show, might remember when I was cracking on Gale saying that she was sitting on top of a rock like Batman or a gargoyle, and then she zapped Salvor with the Force when she walked up and startled her. They fucking explained that shit. Like, I thought it was just some random one-off goofy scene, and I let it go because it wasn't a big deal or anything. But we find out in this episode that Gale was moving Harry's body at that time. I'm telling you guys, very rarely am I truly impressed, but I almost did a standing ovation in my garage at that scene because I really thought that scene with Gale on the rock was just a goofy ass one-off, and I completely dismissed it, and then it ended up having a cool ass explanation like that. It ended up being kind of a big deal. Like they really impressed me with this episode. Like, we're not even 10 minutes into the episode at this point, and already I'm just thoroughly impressed by everything I've seen and enjoying the hell out of every minute. So all the village kids arrive at the beggar and say that they know that Tellum is gone because, unsurprisingly, as I think Gale said on the show or theorized on the show, that she's been in their heads the whole time, manipulating them, and now they're free. Interestingly enough, they leave the Shag storyline at this point, and they go to the Empire storyline and stay there until damn near the end of the episode before coming back to this plotline, which I thought was an interesting decision. I don't really know why they made it, but I'm staying here, and we're going to keep shagging. I'm going to finish the Shag storyline. So everyone's back at the site where the ritual was about to happen, and I immediately noticed how the scenery is all blurry around Gale and Josiah. Like, they trained me like Pavlov's dog with that shit. Like, as soon as I saw that blurry shit, I jumped up like the Leonardo DiCaprio meme and pointed at my TV, then went straight to my notes. Like, if the blurry shit means someone's mind is being manipulated, who's being manipulated and who's doing the manipulating? So immediately I'm like, all right, I already see what's going on here. Well, it doesn't take long for us to find out. Josiah tries to shoot Gale because he is possessed by Tellum. Salvor throws a knife at him like she's been working at the circus for decades. This fucking accuracy. But she also takes a shot as well. Not in a good way, a bad shot, not a good shot. As Josiah dies, he tells them that Tellum jumped into him as she was dying. He says he can feel her dying and she's scared, but he isn't. And meanwhile, I'm in my notes like, then who's to say she didn't jump into another motherfucker right before that knife hit your chest? Like, I don't know. And I feel like that's still on the table, honestly. And then as if watching a child die because a knife was thrown into his chest wasn't bad enough, we then pan over to learn that Salvor is also dying. And man, when she called Gale mom, I almost lost my shit, y'all. I'm like, oh man, they earned that one. They earned that one. That was a moment right there. Salvor tells Gale to continue the mission as she dies, and then they burnt her body, but it was propped up on some weird Weekend at Bernie shit. She's sitting in a chair. I don't know what that was about. So the Shag storyline for season 2 ends with Gale asking Harry what's next. He tells her it's time for a 150-year nap until the next turning point where she faces the mule. And they agree to do everything together, both cryosleep and training the Mentalics. And the episode ends with Gale and Harry going into the pod and with the return of the mule, because we jump 152 years into the future and we see the mule saying that he's been seeing Gale in his dreams, and now she's there and he has to find her before she finds him. And did any of the rest of you get the vibe that Gale is the bad guy to him? Like he just like Gale is the protagonist for us, so automatically we see the mule shooting at her, like that's the bad guy. But like I never considered that maybe Gale is the bad guy to him. Like, yo, some motherfucker from 200 years ago, 150 years ago, is on their way to come see me and fuck my shit up. I'm scared. I don't know what's going on. I gotta kill her first. Like, I don't know, but I got the vibe that he was actually scared of her and haunted by her. And that may not be it, but if so, that would be a cool subversion of my expectation. And I would really enjoy seeing that get fleshed out in season 3, should we get one. So, speaking of flesh, that's a great segue into talking about Empire and Demerzel. I usually suck at segues, but that was actually a pretty good one. We were all correct in that Demerzel left Day on Trantor last week in order to tend to Dusk and Rue being trapped in that secret room. I should probably get a swig of water, man. My voice is getting more fucked up as I talk. I don't know. I feel all right. So she comes back and she frees them. And this entire scene is so cool because you see Demerzel saying that saying how she really feels and what she actually wants, but at the same time acknowledging that none of that matters because it's contrary to her programming. Like, she speaks incredibly highly of Cleon. She says she loves him, but then she's like, "But I was programmed to, so I don't know if I really love him. Like, if I wasn't programmed to, would I have still loved him? Who knows?" She says, of course she wants the genetic dynasty to end, but she's programmed to preserve it. And then Dusk is like, "Well, we could change your program." And she's like, "I'd destroy you if you tried." And it's like the most non-threatening, matter-of-fact kind of way. And it's like, she's a robot who knows her programming. It's not a threat. It's just a statement of what her programming would make her do. Like, I just thought that was a really cool line. And she delivered it with the exact lack of emotion that it needed. She then says that she's the one who hired the blind assassins to try to kill Day, which I theorized at one point, but I had the same issue at that time that I've had most of the season, which was struggling to wrap my head around what Demerzel wanted. Because it seemed like, okay, well, she seemed like she wants this thing, but then why was she, like I said, like she seems like she wants the, like she doesn't want to do the, forget the genetic dynasty and have Day marry Sarah, but then why is she encouraging Day to marry Sarah? So it's like, you know, I struggled with her motivations. Well, she explains it here, saying that the attack was never even meant to kill Day, though it got real fucking close, but rather to set up Sareth to take the fall for it, which would make Day no longer want to marry her. It's a really good plan. She says Sarah's bank records have been altered to show incontrovertible proof. I don't know if incontrovertible was the word she used, but she used a big fucking word. Incontrovertible proof, and a memory audit will confirm. She says that Sarah will be tried for treason and she will be put to death. Now, mind you, by this point in the episode, we've already had the Shag storyline portion where we learn about Gale controlling Harry's body like telekinetically. That's the word I was looking for earlier. We've now just experienced Demerzel giving us all sorts of mind-blowing information, right? And then again, and this is why I love this episode, it just kept escalating in greatness. As if all that wasn't enough, we all come to the realization together that none of this can work out if Dusk and Rue make it out of that room. And the realization that they have to die is pretty shocking. The fact that Demerzel knows everything Dawn has been up to with Sareth is even more shocking, and it makes you nervous about what's to come. But then they close out this incredible sequence with Dusk and Demerzel sharing this moving hug, and he gives this expression of forgiveness, and we don't even see what Demerzel does to them, nor do we see their bodies. We just see her walking away looking about as conflicted as a robot can look. Like, and I'm just like, God damn, the actress who played Demerzel fucking crushed this episode, man. She was so fucking good. Like, I don't know how you look at a script and see that your character as a robot has to visually convey, I have to do something I don't want to do because it's in my programming. And then just look at that and just be like, yeah, I know how to do this. I can nail this. And she fucking nailed it. I don't know. That was really impressive to me. Like, it's like she was walking away almost looking like the conflict between her programming and what she wanted was causing her to, like, glitch out like old girl in Wreck-It Ralph. So moving on, we move to Terminus now, where Day is still actively ejaculating as he watches Terminus be destroyed. And again, at the beginning of the season, I complained, albeit very little, about the characterization of Day this season. I kept it more in here, but I said he was more childlike and immature this season rather than the intimidating and scary version that we saw last season. And I'm like, I like Day is still cool, but he's not as cool as he was in season 1. Well, season 1 Day is back up in this bitch with a vengeance, y'all, because this was all season 1 Day energy in this episode. Like, right away, he's like, Brother Constant, who else fuck with the Foundation? And she's like, you know who it is. He's like, y'all about to destroy all them bitches. I'm like, yo, this is really, I'm getting excited. I'm like, this is getting really good. He's like, I want you to name them. And then she names him, and he's like, and you know what? You know what's going to be first? What's the name of it? Oh, fuck. I lost the, fuck. What was the name of the fucking one that she's Thespin? Yeah. She names them off and shit. And then she's like, yeah, this one. He's like, oh, okay, thank you for the list. And I'm going to start with Thespin. So I'm like, man, Day is a fucking asshole right now. Like, man, he is a cold motherfucker, man. No fucks given Day. He's back. But Bell won't deliver this order. And this is a compelling scene, too, because we know from earlier in the season, callbacks, that Day already has a chip on his shoulder regarding being undermined by Bell. So immediately I catch the gravity of this scene. I'm like, oh, he can't tolerate this insubordination at all. Like, he has to do something here. And he does. He slaps the shit out of Bell, too. But afterward, he merely fires him. I thought he was going to kill him. He relieves him of command of the ship. And then Day takes charge of the ship himself and then commands the spacers to do the same attack that Bell was refusing to do. Now, the spacer on the ship readily agrees to do it, and then we immediately see why. The object that was embedded in Hober's wrist, the same one that Bell had asked him about that he got distracted from, we come to learn that the jump sequence is embedded in his wrist. He just needed to get it to a spacer, and now each ship is jumping into its neighbor, creating like a chain reaction that's going to destroy Day's entire fleet. And Day very calmly requests multiple ways that at least he should be able to get out. And they're like, no dice. Everything's shut down. Nobody's getting out. We all dying in this bitch. Hober, again, I guess immediately forgetting that he's going to die shortly, proceeds to start shit-talking, saying it was Harry's plan the entire time to bait Day into coming out there. And of course, he fell for it because he's a dumb fuck. Day then proceeds to beat the ever-loving shit out of Hober, much to my excitement. Not because I dislike Hober, which I kind of do, but that's not why. But because the episode is going so hard and it's not taking its foot off the gas. And I'm just like, yes, give me more, give me more, give me more. Beat the shit out of him. Let's just keep escalating this. And then Bell interrupts and they start fighting. And I'm just like, yes, just keep it going. Just keep it going. I want to see some decapitations, like whatever. Like, let's go. Let's keep it going. This episode's crazy. This is a much more even fight until my favorite and most shocking moment of the episode. So it appears Day has won the fight, and he's about to send Bell out through the airlock. And just as he does, the bodies switch, and we realize that this is a callback, again, to the episode where we met Hober, and he had the technology to swap the bodies. And we learned that Bell had put the node in the pocket of Day's robe while they were fighting. And listen, a callback to a moment I didn't like at the time turns out to be my favorite part of the episode. Like, it's absolutely incredible. Like, I didn't see that coming at all. So Bell tells Constant and Hober that there's a way for one of them to leave in this cleaning pod, and Hober and Constant have an emotional send-off scene that does not work and does not land because they put minimal effort into building that relationship. But hey, I didn't care. I'm just like, whatever. Like, this is dumb. I don't feel anything about their relationship or about the two of them, but everything else is happening is so fucking cool. Like, I just brushed that away. Like, whatever. I don't care about this shitty relationship, but I don't care that they are acting like I should care about this shitty relationship because everything else is great. Then just as I was wondering, what's taking so long for their ship to blow up, Bell and Hober sit down to have his epic wine that he's been saving, which now apparently tastes like Becky's asshole. And if you haven't been paying close attention, Becky is a creature, not a woman. Not the woman from the Sir Mix-a-Lot song. Oh, I'm dating myself. So I liked how when they were struggling to describe the wine, it was because they kept looking out of the window at their impending demise. Like, yeah, it tastes like impending death. Like, I don't know. I thought that was a nice little touch. I didn't like the convenient timing of their ship only exploding once all of the business on the ship had been conducted and was complete. I didn't like that, but when you're giving me this much greatness in the span of 60 minutes, I'm definitely willing to let that go. So Constant escapes in the pod, not knowing if anyone will ever find her, but she arrives at the vault in motherfucking space. She enters the vault, and we learn that no one on Terminus died because Harry had all this shit planned out. There's a cajillion people in the vault, including people who should be dead, like Constance's father and Glaywin. And side note, it's weird keeping Glaywin alive and killing Bel Rios, but who knows what this show will do? We never know. I mean, it was always the plan to sacrifice Terminus so the Foundation could survive, per Harry. And I'm left to cope with the fact that I thought Dave was smart, but he was 548 steps behind Harry. I'm sitting here like, man, last week I was talking about all the good points that Dave made. Now I'm like, man, Dave, you fucking idiot, man. You were so far behind, you had no idea. So lastly, we return to Trantor, and we see Sarah getting arrested for the attack on Day. Dawn runs up to Demerzel like, yo, what the fuck is this? Like, it ain't no way she did this. And Demerzel's like, incontrovertible proof. And just as she's leaving, we get yet another epic fucking callback. Dawn sees a green mark on her neck, calling back to the scene where him and Dusk were looking at the mural. If you remember, I think they were going to get some memories or whatever from that one guy, and they were like looking at the mural at the time, and Dusk said that the green stripe on the neck of the person was the mark of a betrayer. So Dawn sees that mark on Demerzel's neck, and we learn that Dusk put it on there during the emotional hug that took place in the room right before he died. And then we also see Demerzel notice the mark on her neck as well. So she pieces together that Dawn probably knows. Like, that's all of this, like, all of these realizations come flooding in, like, oh shit, then that means this, then that means that. And I just love that. Like, having a moment where it's like, he sees a green mark on her neck, and you just go, oh, that's a callback to this. Oh, that could mean that. Oh, now she sees it, and that could be, I mean, that's just so cool, man. Dawn, having figured out what's going on, he rescues Saris, and in another motherfucking dope callback, they announce to the world that Day is dead, and Dawn will be marrying Saris, but it's not actually them. It's their servants wearing the face scramblers that we learned about earlier this season as well. Callbacks, y'all. They were off the fucking charts in this episode. So many things where I'm just like, oh, that thing that seemed like a cool one-off thing ended up being really fucking important. I don't know. That's really cool. Dawn then calls Demerzel and makes the case that killing them would turn the people against Empire because they hot in the streets right now, and turn the people against Empire would go against her programming objective. Sarah also reveals to both of them that she's pregnant, and as Demerzel tries to mathematically deduce how that baby cannot be born, Dawn says he hopes she's happy for him and that she finds happiness. She was good to him, closest thing he had to a mother. And I'm like, where the fuck did this heartbreaking shit come from? That was a really nice scene. But Dawn and Sarah leave Trantor as Demerzel defrosts 3 new versions of Dusk, Dawn, and Day. And that's going to end my coverage of Season 2. So I do want to leave you with one thing, though, that I thought would be extra cool for Season 3. I want to see them do next season, if we get it, some cool Game of Thrones type shit. So hear me out. Presumably, if we get a Season 3, it'll start 150 years from now. So the Dawn, Day, and Dusk that just got defrosted will be long gone, as will the child of Dawn and Sareth, the one that Sareth is pregnant with right now. However, I want the descendant of that child to be on some, I've returned to Trantor to claim the throne that is rightfully mine from these copied and pasted motherfuckers you call Empire. Something like that. Like the real heir to the throne returns wanting his seat. I think that'd be really fucking cool. But yeah, man, this episode had it all. I'm blown away by how good it was and how it set up great stuff for Season 3. So whenever Season 3 comes, I will see you then. Let me know what you thought about this episode and this season, my coverage in the comments. I will see you guys next year for Season 3. And until then, peace.